Hey everybody, it's Eric here with GMFlash.com. Today I wanted to make a quick video about fuel system, integrated trailer brake control, and suspension control module connectors. What we got here is two different styles. Both of these are brand new. They're not pigtails, or we're not selling them as pigtails, but we are selling just empty connectors. So there's two different styles, like I said. You're going to have either a left hand or a right hand. So if you look in the very back, you'll see an L right there on the back side of the connector. Or on this guy right here, you'll see an R for right hand side. So right and left style connectors. So what makes them right and left hand style? So here's our right hand style. So if you're looking at the right hand style, you're going to have a single stack row on top and a double stack row on bottom. If you go to our left hand connector, you're going to have, hopefully you can see it in the video there, you're going to have on the left hand a double stack row on top and a single stack row on bottom. So if you need one of these connectors, that's the first thing you're going to need to know which one you're ordering, left hand or right hand. Like I said, easily identifiable by the R or L on the back side. Now, what happens with these? Number one, they're kind of brittle to begin with. I think it's a terrible design. The other thing is, when they're up under the vehicle, they get full of junk, which is one of the main reasons the fuel system control module goes bad all the time. So they get water, mud, all kinds of things intrude the connector itself, and can make it very difficult to remove the connector from the module, any module that you're trying to remove it from, either fuel, integrated trailer brake, or suspension. So a lot of times it's easy enough to get the connector off. Real easy. There's a little tab right here. I have had people ask me how they unlock. So there's a little tab right here. Just pull forward on the tab, and you'll have to rotate it slowly forward all the way to the full upright position. So you just want to do it really slowly, because you'll see there are a lot of times there'll be so much garbage inside the connector that this will not want to move. Like this one here, when it came off the truck that we cut this off of, you could barely move this connector, even to open it to get the old module out. And I've been messing with this this connector here for a little bit, making a few takes in this video. So now it's kind of actually opened up where you can actually move it. Now, if you were to put this connector on a module, I tried to reconnect it before I left the shop today to the module that was removed with the truck from. I put it on, and I could not get it to fully latch down on the module. You could get it to close, but it actually wouldn't seat the module all the way fully connected. It was leaving a good, probably finger width from bottoming out in the connector. So therefore, it's not making good contact, which I've actually seen. I had a discussion with a local GM technician that has had quite a few issues with these fuel system control module connectors, where they weren't seated correctly and the truck would run. And then the truck would stop running and had to go and mess with the connector. So when you take your old fuel system control module off, which probably the most time these will be touched, as integrated trailer brake and suspension control modules, most people aren't fixing, they're just leaving them. But you're obviously not going out with your fuel system control module. So when you go to remove your fuel system control module, the first thing you want to do is make sure you obviously open this very slowly, as to not try to break the connector. So a lot of times when they'll break, there's two parts to this. Now this one, okay, so there's two parts to this. So this top cover basically rotates and pulls open these sliding jaws that are on the inside. So on the inside here, there is some jaws with some tracks basically. And when you put the module down into here, it basically catches. This one's not all the way open. So it basically catches. There's going to be four little arms that come out of the top of the module on the side, and basically going to catch. And then when you go to lock it, you get the lock. When you go to lock it, it's basically going to slide the intersection right here in, which has the jaws with the grooves, and it's going to pull the module down and suck it down and make it tight to the connector. So a lot of times what happens is when you go to close this, you snap this piece here off, and basically this piece here in the middle, the actual things that connects the sliding jaws together, becomes free. Now I just worked on one of these recently where the customer had broken it so bad when it got towed into my shop that these jaws here were independent of each other, and I basically ripped this cover off and then pulled the arms out one by one, cleaned the tracks really well, which is what we'll talk about now. So when you get your module off, you want to get in there with either some carburetor cleaner or probably electronics cleaner would probably be the best, since most of them are plastic. Most electronics cleaners are plastic safe. Get in there. You're going to want to try to spray in behind this this track right here, the groove track. Spray in behind there on both sides. Spray in the track itself. In the connector, you want to clean as much of that as you can out to get the dirt and grime out, because obviously you can tell this has definitely seen some better days. Now, if you can get most of the dirt out of there, and you'll probably use a can or two of electronics cleaner, and get as much of the stuff as you can out of there, get it cleaned up. And then what I like to do is come in with some dielectric grease. This is an all-in-one like dielectric grease brake lube or brake caliper lube. So what I like to do is come in and put some on the back side. I'm hoping you guys can see this in the video, but put it on the back side of the connector, so the outside, where it's going to be sandwiched in between the track and the backside guide of the connector. I also like to put a little in the guides itself, so that way when you put the module on, it's got a little something that it takes a little friction off, basically. Now, one of the other things I have a lot of questions about is when people go to put the module on and can't get it to seat correctly. A lot of times it's due because of this gasket that's supposed to keep the water out. I don't think it does a very good job of keeping the water out. But a lot of times, like especially this one here now, I've messed with a little bit and cleaned it up a little bit. But when this thing originally got pulled out, it was disgusting. Full of all kinds of mud, trash, and all kinds of stuff. Well, the problem is when you go to seat your module inside the connector, this thing's dirty, and it's basically like a big stop for the module. It doesn't want to let it slide. So what I like to do is I like to clean these off. You can use some electronics cleaner on it, or really anything. You can wash it off with water. And then I like to take some dielectric grease. I'll coat it in dielectric grease. And then my trick is, what I do is I'll use this clean one here as an example. But what I like to do is set it inside the module. Then I take my white lock, or there are some different colors, but most of them are going to be white. Then I like to take the guide, set it on the very top. If I can get this to go. Set it on the very top, and then just push it in, and that will seat. And obviously there's a gasket under this one, so it won't work for this application, but when you put it in there and you put the lock on top of it, it's going to firmly seat the gasket and push it to the right location. And then when you go to put your module on, usually almost every single time, it will just slide right on and lock in place. So let's say you break it and you need to replace it. We are going to be carrying them on the website. Let's go 6 to 10 days probably lead time. I am going to keep a couple in stock at all given times, hopefully. But I'm not planning on ordering a whole bunch of these because I can't source them cheaply. But let's say you need to replace it. Now, I've had a customer actually this week or a couple days ago ask me, because he actually broke his, and he thought these pins were molded into the connector itself. Well, they're not. It's very easy to actually replace them. They are a little tricky to remove, but once you get the idea, it's real easy. So if you go to our website, we do have the wiring diagram for these, for the integrated trailer brake control module and for the fuel system control module. I do not have one up there for the suspension control module, so you'd have to pull up those diagrams yourself, or we may check and see if they're pretty much the same across the board and upload to the website. But the easiest way to do it is if, let's see, this is a left hand module. Yeah, let's see, is this a left hand? Okay, so we got two left hands right here. So the easiest way to do it is just do pin by pin and just go one at a time. Obviously, I'm not going to repin this entire connector, but I'll give you a quick overview of how this works. So if you're going to need a pick tool, either straight, I like the curved pick tool. So you take your 90 pick tool and you're going to come into the module, and let's start with, let's just start with this red wire right here. And hopefully you guys can see that and not going to be in the way. So you'll take out your white pin guide or pin protector, whatever you want to call it, or the lock protector. Pull that out, set it to the side. When you look inside this big connector right here, this big pin terminal right here, you're going to see there's going to be like one little, let's see if you can see it over here, right here. So this is actually the lock that locks the terminal in place, if you can see that. So this little lock has to be disengaged from the terminal. So basically take your pick tool, you're going to want to go in there, get behind it, and then go in front and grab, let's see if I can get it. Go and grab the wire and pull out the terminal and the wire together. And then one by one, you'll have to go to the other module and repin it. So obviously this was, I don't have the pin number on here. Let's see, is it in the front? So that's pin 17, it looks like. No, that pin 17 is gonna be that one, but one of the outside ones is one of the higher number ones. So anyway, we're gonna come in on the other side. We're gonna look for where the pin locks. So this is, I don't know if it's gonna be in focus, but there's gonna be a little groove where the lock on the connector is actually going to engage the lock of the terminal. So we want to make sure we have it facing the correct way. So the pin lock for the terminal is down, so we want to insert this down. So we'll take this and insert it, and now it's locked. So you'll see that the connector lock engages the terminal and is locked the pin. So now the pin cannot come out. So it's fairly simple. Let's go and do one of the smaller ones. See if there's an easy one to grab here. We'll go with this top one all by itself. Of course, let's see. Let's go with this red one that's down here. All right, hopefully you can see that. So we're going for this red one right here. Got this locked open. So let's see here. So if you go down, there's a little lock. I'll try to engage it. I can't even see it really. You really have to get a good light to do this. Alright, so there it is. I've pulled the lock, pulled the pin out, and she's ready to put in the other one. So we can choose any location for this one because it really doesn't matter because we're only using it for demonstration purposes only. So let's see. Let's just choose this one right here. Slide it in, and it's locked. So it's pretty simple. Now this one here is a little easier because it's nice and clean. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to slide my pick tool under there, pop up the lock, and it pulls right out. So as of right now, we're going to be throwing these on the website here shortly. We're not going to be supplying terminals, so you will be having to repin your existing connector using your old factory wiring. Most of the time it's good. Let me just pull this one out here again real quick. So pop it under there, wiggle it out. Let's see. So this one here, obviously when you go to take it off, you're going to want to inspect the actual terminal itself. This one here's got some corrosion on it. The wire even looks a little corroded. So you probably want to clean that up first. And if you have terminals that are bad, we are going to try to start sourcing some terminals right now. I've just got the connectors. I'm going to try to source some terminals, and we may even make pigtails for those that just want to butt connector them together. There's nothing going to be as good as the factory terminal crimp, but we will try to source some of the terminals just in case you run into an issue. We'll need a special crimping tool you can get at most parts places for weather pack connectors or Metro Pack. I'm not sure what these are. These are probably weather pack connectors. But if I can source those, we'll also add some pins on the website. Or like I said, maybe at some point we'll try to do a complete pigtail, but I'm not a big fan of butt connectors, so it'd be better if you just either made new terminals and reinserted the terminals, or if you were able to clean up your connector, clean up your terminals, and put them back in here. Nothing's going to be as good as the factory crimp on there. So it should last you a long time with the factory stuff, just replacing your broken connector. So just remember, be very careful with these. When you go to unplug them, move them slowly, and then clean them out really good before you put them back together. Use a little dielectric grease and lube up the slide lock mechanism on the inside. Also take out the rubber gasket, clean it off, lube it up pretty good. And like I said, my trick to do it works every single time. I've had a lot of people call and not be able to get the connector on because of the rubber gasket. Lube it up, put your cap on top, and just push it home. And when you put the connector on there, it's going to seat it perfectly every single time. If you have any questions, please comment below. They will be on gmflash.com's website here shortly. If there's a huge demand for them, like I said, we've had a lot of requests, and I haven't been able to source these. We're actually getting these from a Chrysler dealership. So I'll keep a few in stock. Hopefully we'll, have enough just to fulfill orders. But if we get a lot of people wanting them, we may start stocking them. So that's on average, say, maybe up to 10 days lead time, because they are going to be probably ordered per customer order. But hopefully that helps you. We've had, like I said, a lot of questions about this stuff. But when you do go to replace your modules, be very gentle with the connector, because these things are fragile and they do break. And I've had some people have had issues where the modules is fine, but the connector has been broken due to an impact of something hitting it. So hopefully for you guys that are in need of these things, just remember, when you're looking for your replacement, there's going to be a left-hand side and a right-hand side. Just take your time, go pin by pin for pin locations, or maybe take pictures and just go one pin at a time, or you refer to our diagram on gmflash.com under the fuel system control module or integrated trailer brake control module diagnosis pages, and hopefully that will help you get you back on the road. Thanks everybody, have a great day.